This is iRacing.
Well, last week, Togo Hisada was no longer the bridesmaid. In fact, he was the bride. He finally got that first victory in the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series. And now you've got to feel that he's in prime position to overtake Peterson in the championship, but they move to the treachery of the street. It's the Long Beach Grand Prix today. You will see it all live here on iRacing, brought to you by the Global SimRacing Channel. Hello, everyone. I am Craig King. In the booth with me is Joey Atterbury, and behind the director's cameras is Daniel Costello, using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Now, Joey, there's a saying. It's like London buses. You wait for one, two come. Is that what we're probably going to see today with Togo? Maybe he gets a second win.
And we're going to see if he can kind of master those streets around Southern California, around Long Beach out here. But if there's one thing about this racetrack, you got to watch out for those accordion effects, especially on lap number one, and stay off of the walls today.
Yeah, a lot of things that can happen on the track, but let's see about the track. Let's go to our GSRC track guide, brought to you by Joe Peak.
Welcome to Long Beach. Nestled into the south side of Los Angeles and running alongside the Pacific Ocean, this street circuit has made the port area world famous. Both Formula One and IndyCar have called this 2-mile, 11-turn circuit home. Winning here has become a prestige worth boasting about among open-wheel pilots. Indeed, the winners list includes the likes of Lauda, Andretti, Unser, Montoya, Power, and many other legendary names in racing. Much like its European sister over in Monaco, it's short, tight, and punishing. But unlike Monte Carlo, this circuit emerged from a rundown piece of California coast to grow into the glamorous location it is today. Down into Turn 1 at the end of Shoreline Drive is where the majority of overtakes tend to be made. But sneaky passes can also pop up in places like 6 on the way into Pine Avenue, or Turn 9 at the end of Seaside Way. There's also 2 distinctive landmarks notorious for causing track blockages. The fountain section, with all its beauty, is a single-file affair save for the first lap. And the hairpin has been a staple here, even though it's changed locations a few times. In fact, that last hairpin not only includes the dangers of getting tangled with another car, but the important nature of getting the best exit you can to keep your rival from having a chance to pass you into the first corner. It feels appropriate that California's signature street track is a hop, skip, and a jump away from the beach. But while others might be trying to attack the surf, our drivers today will be attacking the corners instead.
Well, it's been pretty warm around here in England to dive into those fountains, but no cars want to go into that today, Joey. This is a fantastic track for all the years, and it's his 50th anniversary this year.
Yeah, it's fantastic to be here at Long Beach with these cars. Let's take a look at this track map. 11 turns around this Southern California circuit, and it is 1.96 miles in length. A couple little areas that we're definitely going to have to watch out for. Turn number 1, especially on this very opening lap. That's probably your best passing opportunity as it is off of that long front straightaway there. And then the fountain section, also known as turns number 2 and 3. Definitely kind of an accordion effect, kind of like what I hinted at a little bit earlier. The cars definitely get stacked up right there. And then if we look all the way towards the other end of the track map, you see that tiny little hairpin, and you see how sharp that is, that corner, turn number 11. That is always a doozy of a corner. It doesn't matter if you're single file, if you're packed in with people on the opening lap, on the last lap. It is always going to have to be a corner that you watch out for, both on entry, the apex, not to clip that right rear on that kind of wall that sticks out, and also be able to put the power down coming out onto that long front straightaway, Craig.
Yeah, there have been some moments here on the iRacing channel with lots of highlights around this track, especially at that hairpin. Maybe some more highlights once again from these drivers as we zoom on out and show you the rest of the world. Let's show you the standings in the F1 Championship, because the drop weeks have now come into effect. So even though Togo Hisada claimed his first victory last time by, he has lost some ground to Pauli Partanen. As you can just see, that gap now has gone to 21 points, and behind them there is still a lot of battling, because look at that between Timothy Reed, going up Freischer as well, just trying to catch on. And then everybody behind those 4 drivers, they're trying to play catch up. Just 30 points, almost 40 points between Kartik Pai in 5th, all the way down to Nick Fisson in 10th. But there is more than just the F1 Championship. Joey, we do have that F2 Championship.
Yeah, just separated by the I rating of the drivers. And right now it is Aaron Blair with a 13-point lead over Luke Raspudik. Pretty narrow up top there. And then a little bit of a gap to our third-place driver of Connor Levy. Another nice little gap back to Ben Summers and Yanni Lehman, kind of rounding out the top 5. Then it keeps those kind of consistent gaps. If you notice, about 20 points, maybe 30 points between each. Keith Herner back there in 6th. A narrow margin between 7th and 8th between Wan Mi and Christo Shinmai. Only 3 points there. And then another 4 points separating Christo and Kurt Clapper. Byron Long, a single point there. So as you see, 6th through 10th, much, much closer than the first 5 here in the F2 driver standings.
And with that, we also have the team standings. One of the things that I do love, you can join the team standings in the team championship on the iRacing forum and join the community Discord. You take a team, and this is what you get. Gernot Freischer leading on his own in the Ferrari. 6 points ahead of the Martini of Keith Herner and Aaron Blair. It has gotten very close with no Gernot in the last couple of weeks. And then Dylan Frackleton, that bright purple TVR Racing, currently sitting in 3rd place. Still close at the rest of the table. Remember, this is for anybody. So, of course, you've got Barry West and John Stevens there in 8th, and then the Leisure team in 10th position go to the race. And this is actually going to be one of those, Joey. It's interesting when you come to these laps. It's going to be very quick around here today.
Definitely. They're doing about a minute 10 in terms of their lap times out here. So round number 7 of 12 this season, and we're going to be doing 29 of those very rapid laps out here. An open setup, and if you guys have seen the posts on either Reddit or social media trying to promote the series, go join the Discord. Pauli Partanen is out there really promoting it and handing out the setups. And remember, Pauli is your championship leader, one of the fastest guys in here. So if you want to drive the fast stuff, they're handing out those open setups. No spare car, so if you pick up any damage, which is quite common around here at Long Beach, you're going to have to be able to deal with it out there on the racetrack, or come down pit road and have your pit crew hop over the wall and get that fixed up. And then we have our penalties. 17 incident points brings you down pit road for a drive-through. 25 incident points is a DQ out there, so Barney will be watching, but I've said it a couple times already, Craig. I don't think that incident points are really going to matter here. It's all going to be those walls.
Yeah, you want to stay alert on a street circuit, as the old famous meme goes, and you want to keep yourself alive. As we have some of the drivers already through qualifying with just a little bit of time left. 2 minutes and change left in the qualifying, and there's only 2 drivers that have not set a time that's out there trying to set a time. Toga Hisada and Dylan Freckleton, the 2 cars out there who are trying to push. Harley Partonen currently leading the way for 1:10.391. A good almost 3 tenths ahead there of Mikko Linio. Very tight outside of that, but there is the man coming down the Olympus. The number 23 of Hans Sommer just goes on by. Toga Hisada is going to be coming around this hairpin one more time he's got left to go. It's oh so tough to get on that throttle, avoiding the tire barrier. Really wants to get on the front here, because we all know the power that Parton has got on the start-finish line. It's a 1:12.6. Not a good start for Hisada.
No, and his outlap was pretty ragged as well. Went way wide in turn number 8 and had to do the old U-turn out there, drop the clutch and spin the thing around. So, and then just his first time lap, I was really watching it and just was really slippery out there, was struggling with trying to put the power down, especially through this corner right here, turn number 5. So much better on this second timed lap. And that's usually kind of a thing with these Lotus 79s, Craig, is that the first lap, there's plenty of grip, there's plenty of speed, but the second lap, the car definitely starts to come into its own.
Yeah, the car is now really going to hit onto the grip as he comes down. Seaside way for the final time. Under that little Firestone bridge he goes. And he's going to be finding the right opportunity to brake and shift on down through the Firestone turn. A little bit of hesitation there by the looks of it. He didn't track out wide. Wanted to set himself up for that Indy left, and now comes into the hairpin. Little bit of a slide. Keeps that power down. Look how slow they're going. Under 100 kilometers an hour. It's hard onto the throttle he goes. Is he got enough time for this? Oh, man, it's a good time. But it's less than a tenth from Partonen. He cannot get to the pole position.
Yeah, just narrowly misses out, and that's kind of what I was expecting out of that second lap from Togo Hisada. Just everything finally up to temperature, the car driving itself forward, and this is, I believe this is Josh Brain out here. He's in the number 20 car. He's actually qualified 22nd at this time with a 1:12.5. He's actually done all of his qualifying laps, so I think what Josh is doing here in the final seconds of the session is just out there getting a little bit of extra practice in. And here at Long Beach, I don't blame him. The walls, they are everywhere. The fountain, you got to watch out for. The more practice, the better off you are.
More practice, the better you need, and you want to have all the practice you can. We get ready to go into the group with the 29 car field. Partonen is pole position, and Hisada will be second. Linio will take third with Jack David Spickett back in fourth. And then it's JD Rodriguez in fifth with Nick Fisson in sixth. Gabri Martinez will take seventh with Philip Kuhnhart in eighth. And then it's Dylan Freckleton in ninth with Sean Langton in 10th to round out the first page.
Timothy Reed can't spit out my names apparently this morning. In 11th place, Javier Mascara in 12th. Shady Ahmad in 13th with Tim Bertie in 14th. Alexander Matei back here in 15th with Taylor Lane 16th. Kevin Parrish in 17th. Hans Sommer 18th. Then Yanni Lehman and Brendan Lim will round out the top 20.
We do have one last page with Daniel Bank in 21st and Josh Brain in 22nd. Barry West will be 23rd with Ryan Ware 24th. And then it's Keith Herner in 25th with Aaron Blair, the last timed qualifier, in 26th. Which means Jason Clapper, as per usual, at the back of the field in 27th. Daniel Gallis will be 28th. And Ellis Spice, going to be a spicy start for him. He'll be starting in 29th for the car number 27. As we're waiting for all the cars to get on the grid. If you're looking for stats, 32 Celsius, 90 Fahrenheit is the track temperature today. So it's going to be a bit of a hot one out there. And what's going to happen? The John Player Special's got the outside line when they come to the first corner. We know the starts that we see from Partonen. We know Hysada's not had the best of starts this season. It has to be said, sadly. It's going to be very tough to see how he gets on with this, but here we go. Green flag and green lights are about to start going. They rev up. This is going to be 29 laps at Long Beach, and it's green flag. And who gets the better run? Once again, it's Partonen. Hysada's had a mare of a start. He's getting bogged down there, 3 wide coming down the straight. Hysada's all the way down to 5th straight away. We're going to get a 3 wide for Lino, Martinez, Rodriguez. They're all going to try and do this. 1, 2, 3. They're trying to keep it in, but it's so tough to go. Hysada is going all the way down the field, and Lino goes up 4 places, and we've had a crash in the background as well.
Yeah, a little bit of some contact there, but for the most part, knock on wood, we are through the fountain section without any huge slow-ups. There was that driver, Togo Hysada, that just did not get rolling off of that standing start. Dylan Freckleton here in this bright purple machine has already made up 1 position. He finds himself right on the back of Nick Thyssen as they head up and over towards turn number 8 for the first time.
Hysada got past Rodriguez. He's gone up to 4th position. 2 seconds behind Partonen. Partonen has got away from everybody. This is going to be interesting to see what happens. But you start to see Freckleton trying to pull away. And there's the number 11. We always know Jaden Rodriguez with the way he dresses up the car. When you see him in other historic series, this is what he loves to dress it up. Everyone now starting to just bunch up there. Yes, I'd like to visit Long Beach, but I tell you what, Joey, I wouldn't want to visit it on that hairpin.
No, it's going to be pretty busy down there, but look at how close Togo Hysada is to Gabri Martinez right here. Martinez kind of drifts towards the middle of the road, and now a late move from Hysada down into turn number 1. He decides that, you know what, not close enough here this time around, plus getting the nose chopped off there for Martinez. But I think that was more Togo Hysada realizing he wasn't quite close enough, but he wanted to show that nose, say, I want that 3rd position back.
Go to a GSRC replay because we did have a bit of an incident at the start of the race. Brendan Lim, Kevin Parrish, and Taylor Lane, all 3 of them come together, and it just looks like the cars and everything started to come together. In fact, there was more cars involved in this. Just those 3 towed as well. I see Sommer at the back of the field as well. I believe that was one of them as well. Yanni Lindman, I think, may as well. Just a little cross up together at that corner. The straight doesn't tighten up. The straight bends a little bit, and I think that's what caught some of those drivers out.
Pretty lucky to only have those, call it 4 or 5 cars collected on that front straightaway. That could have easily been a track blockage, which is exactly what you don't want here at Long Beach on the opening lap. So Pauli Partonen, 1.1 seconds out front. That last lap time, a 1:11.6. Mikko Leno giving chase a 1:11.7, and then it really falls off to Martinez here, who's under heavy threat. Here comes Togo Hysada, finally outbreaks him into turn number 1, takes away that 3rd place position once again, and he needed to do that. Our front 2 leaders were starting to run away.
You never count out Togo Hysada, one of the best late breakers in the series. And he just proved it. He tried that last time, and Martinez just was a little bit hesitant there. So he decides this time, wait his time. Now he's going to try and find 2.5 seconds. But hey, if he gets onto that slipstream of Reno, he might be able to get there quicker than he thinks. It'll be crucial to see the next lap time, not this lap for Togo Hysada, because he will be a little bit compromised taking that shallow line into the Toyota turn. But now, if you're Martinez, you've got to worry because right behind you are 3 storming drivers all looking for that position.
You got that Ramen machine of JD Rodriguez, and then you got the Pepsi machine. It's all food themed right behind Martinez, so I hope he's hungry. And that was a huge oversteer moment from Nick Thyssen coming out at turn number 11. Not sure if he actually tagged that right rear on that apex wall or if he just got too happy with the accelerator. And unfortunately for Jack David Spickett, that Pepsi machine, he's got incredible grip in the brake zones and through the corners, but he lost a ton of speed down the front straightaway. And sometimes that's what Jack David Spickett brings, is a little bit of an alternative setup, and it might work in some sections of the racetrack and be more difficult to drive in others. But right now he's right on the back as you see Rodriguez just jump up and over those curves.
Yeah, last week when everyone was struggling with the slippery Interlagos, Jack took a different setup and it worked for him. And that's what gave him a lot of time. And Rodriguez, he's in a little bit of a slippy moment here and they're going to go for this. Good little move from Jack David Spickett. And I'll tell you what, good thread there. But a bit of an incident in the background. That's 17. That's Javier Mosquera. That's got a red. Hello. Just the car now going flying. Not getting the yellow flag there by the looks of it.
Yeah, and, I'm sure we'll get a replay of this all here. I think it all kicked off with Javier Mosquera as well as Ryan Ware, the blue number 17. And then, you're right, just more cars kind of arca-braked it into the accident that was already happening. But you can't blame them too much. Turn 5 is pretty narrow down there, and you can't see around the corner as look at who just popped up the fastest lap of the race. Togo Hisada just went purple, and he actually just made the move around Micheleno for what is second place.
That was a very late braking move, but he did get it. We'll have a look at what happened with Mascara, but he has come onto the comms and said that the wheel disconnected. So a little bit of a hardware failure caused him to go into the wall, and then everybody just gets concertinaed into it. Like Joey was saying at the start of this broadcast, a bit of a concertina effect is going on. I think that's what happened, but that's important. Hisada in a lap has got past Partonen. The last 2 laps, even though he was chasing and battling, Hisada took the fastest lap time both times, and he was half a second faster than Partonen. Give it a few more laps. We're only on lap 5 at 29. I think Hisada is going to be catching up there. Not the start he wanted. And Joey, how much longer is Hisada going to struggle with these grid starts?
Well, that's a question we're going to have to ask him, and he's going to have to kind of put in the practice time for that. The 49s and the 79s, they launch differently, and evidently he hasn't quite mastered these 79s yet. Well, Pauli Partonen, we've asked him about the starts, and he said, maybe after the season I'll kind of let out what the secret I have found out there. So I think, 1, Pauli Partonen has found something. 2, Togo Hisada is still kind of searching for that something. But the speed, once everything is rolling, it is definitely there. I think if I'm Togo Hisada right now, I need to go as fast as possible. I need to burn up all of my tires, which isn't what you want to do considering you're only a third of the way through the race. But, however, if you run up on lap traffic and Pauli Partonen is 2.5 seconds out front, it's just going to potentially extend that gap, so he needs to catch him ASAP.
Let's look at this quick replay here. Whoa, that's 4 wheels off the track. In an F1, that's an off track there because there's no wheels on the track. But a bit of air caught there from JD Rodriguez as he comes on through. Very interested to see how much air he caught. And he's in a little bit of a battle here because there is that Pepsi Lotus 79 that we saw Jack David Spickett, the red car behind of Nick Peterson. And JD Rodriguez is right there as well. So he's got a nice little pack through in here. Just bookmarked at the end there by Dylan Frackleton and Philip Kuhnhardt. They're just waiting for those opportunities. Not a lot of slipstream there going on. But again, look what Martinez is doing. He tried doing that against Hisada, and it worked the first time. It doesn't work the second time against Hisada. But Jack David Spickett, with no offense, is nothing like Togo Hisada. Here's that quick replay. This was that wheel disconnect that we don't want to see. We're going to see it any second now. And this is the worst feeling in the world. Into the wall.
Yeah, and then you see, he's got no front wheels. He can't do anything about it. And then Barry West is pretty much parked there, has nowhere to go. And I think it clipped out just before kind of that second group came charging through and unfortunately made even more contact with Javier. But this is the opportunity that JDS has been looking for. This is down Seaside Way going into turn number 9. He's going to have to be ultra aggressive on the brakes, but see if he can kind of creep it up to driver's right-hand side, sneak it in down towards the hairpin. Oh, almost contact right there from the nose to the rear gearbox there of Martinez. And unfortunately here, Jack David Spickett is going to be on the losing end of the battle with the higher downforce setup. I just don't see him closing in on the straightaways.
No, and I tell you what's crucial there. He had a really good apex there through the hairpin. Kind of hard to say that on a tight hairpin like that. He got on the throttle. He slid the rear a little bit as he got on the throttle. So what could have been a really good run for him did not happen. And these two going side by side. Kuhnhardt and Frackleton just for a moment, and Frackleton get the better of it. And now they bring Timothy Reed in. So while they're having this battle, they're losing time to that 3-car pack ahead of them. And that's not 4-car pack, sorry. That's not what you want to see. You want to keep battling, but maybe that setup issue again. Maybe Frackleton struggling in the lightning purple TVR. It's so tough though, as you go battling. I'm surprised they were able to go side by side through turn 1.
And like you said, they're about 2.5 seconds, 2.2 seconds behind that other 4-pack of cars. So they don't have the slipstream. This is that earlier 4-pack that I was just mentioning, with Jack David Spickett still all over the back of Martinez here. He's going to have to force an issue. So typically when you have these higher downforce setups like that Pepsi machine, you've got more grip on the brakes. You've got more grip through the rolling speed of the apex, so you can really kind of be more aggressive through the rolling speed section of the corners. However, you do not have the speed down the straightaways. That means you have to make unorthodox passes. It's not going to come in turn number 1. We saw Jack David Spickett make the move on, I believe it was Rodriguez, down there at turn number 8. So that's kind of more the areas of the racetrack that you don't usually expect passing, that Jack David Spickett is going to have to make it work.
Yeah, he's going to upset the apple cart a little bit here and almost hitting the wall. Martinez hitting the wall as well, trying to get under the throttle. Here's that moment that he needed, and just like that, he doesn't need to go for a send. He can just go, thank you very much. I will go on by. And Jack David Spickett gets the easiest of moves. JD Rodriguez, unfortunately, though, he's taken a tow. I think he hit some cars from behind as well, and he's out of the race. He was in the back of this little pack here. It would not surprise me. He's got no front wheel. I wonder, he did the exact same thing. Here he goes. 2 cars going to the wall. He follows them. He just loses it.
Yeah, and he's been having problems with that area of the racetrack, turn number 5, and we got to remember that the scan that we've got here in iRacing isn't absolutely perfect in terms of what the current Long Beach is, and a lot of those apex curbs that we have here in iRacing are no longer there in real life. So I think a lot of these drivers kind of think that they can roll that apex speed, and unfortunately, Rodriguez kind of getting bitten a couple times now and unfortunately met the wall.
Trying to hold on, and he does. He's got Coulthard right behind him. It'll be interesting. Nice to see, though, when you think Long Beach with a scan years ago on iRacing, weren't able to get it complete, and then just after the whole pandemic, able to focus time to get some good high-quality photos, get some real good doing up and graphics, and really get this track back to where it should be. And it has been a fantastic staple to a lot of series here on the sim. Not just this. If you do want to try this, by all means, pick up the car, pick up the track. You will enjoy it, because it is very good to see. In the front of this, though, Nick Visson's gone past Gabriel Martinez. Here's Togo Hitsada. He's almost on the back of the pack. I say the pack, he's almost on the back of the leader of the pack. It's Harley Martinez. There's only a second between them now.
Yeah, this 4-pack led by Dylan Freckleton, constantly being pressured by Philip Coulthard there in that red and white number 10 that we've got focus on, and then Timothy Reed hanging on in that second red car, as well as Sean Langton, that 4th car, trying to make a move down into what is turn number 1. He's side by side here. He's going to make the move on Reed. Almost contact. Oh, a little bit of contact there on corner exit. Now I think Reed has some damage there. Unfortunate for that red number 6 car as he comes to a halt. Alex Matei almost got caught up in that one as well, but thankfully kind of realized what was going on directly in front of him and was able to drive around it.
Yeah, Reed realized straight away he had damage. He parked the car. And I wonder if Langton's got some damage after that as well, because he did hit the wall. I don't see anything when I look at the car, but he does not look comfortable out there. Unlike this car that's looking pretty comfortable out there, the number 22. Matei, real good heads up to slow down there. If you've ever driven Long Beach and you know turn 1, it is hard to check up for a wreck. And that was some fantastic heads up display there from Matei to really catch that on there, and was able to just avoid a lot of the issues out there today.
We were just seeing shots of Jason Clapper, who was our biggest mover of the day, plus 14 positions. And then this is a nice battle. We got 3 cars here, led by Daniel Banker, and then we've got Josh Brain and Daniel Gallus. He's that 3rd car, that JPS-themed car, with the black and gold on the number 16 here. So this is all fighting for what is 14th place position as we kind of approach halfway into this race. Kind of crazy to think, Craig, that we've only been halfway in this race, and how much action have we already seen? It's been a pretty nuts race.
It's been absolute insanity, but that's what you expect from Long Beach. A little bit of craziness mixed in with some fantastic racing is what you expect to see around here. And there is another car going on by. You start to see the back of the field as well. This is interesting. It may be the back but they're still battling hard, and it's a line that Barry West, who I must give a belated birthday, happy birthday. He wasn't here 2 weeks ago celebrating his birthday. He said it doesn't matter where you are, you're always having fun battling around here, and you're seeing it right now with battles going on at the middle of the field, because Twin Bertie out of nowhere just catches Shane Mudd sleeping into Firestone Turn.
Yeah, and Sean Langton is that white car with the bright yellow helmet. Let's see what lap time he actually did that last time. 13.5. So remember, he was kind of involved in that turn 1 incident, avoiding Timothy Reed and kind of that little pass that they had done. But I think that Sean Langton is officially on the move. And like you said, Tim Bertie right in front of him. That's a car that's been moving forward. That's up 5 positions, and Tim actually carries the #1 board here today. 7,500 iRating for Tim. Oh no, Sean Langton into the wall.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of damage already from that car, and he's trying to nurse it. And I think that just shows that he is having a bit of a struggle there. Was reported going slow, but that's just because of the speed difference he's got there. And that's going to be issue. I wonder if he does lose more positions. In fact, he's lost a couple more. He's down in 12. We've got to get back to the lead battle because we said it was going to happen. We're at the halfway stage, and Hysada's right on the back of Partanen. And this is where it gets interesting. Every time these two have had a battle, it's on a track with a lot of straights and a lot of opportunities for overtaking. You look at the Road America, you look at Monza, you look at Interlagos last week, you look at Spa as well. So many times that these two have had to do battles, and yet again, here we are again on another track with long straights. This is prime opportunity to open up the wheels and open up those elbows.
Pauli Partanen has been incredibly consistent, 111.3 that last time. But I mean, talk about 5 ones from Togo Hysada. Actually, 6 ones. Last lap time, 111.111. That is 6 ones all lined up. I don't think I've ever seen that before, Craig.
I mean, I was pointing you on about the lap times. I didn't realize it was a 111.111. If we went to a 4,000 like an IndyCar, may have been another one. But you look at the lap time. Lap 3, an 11 flat. Lap 4, a 10.7. Lap 5, an 11.7. And ever since then, it's been nothing but 11s. And he's not doing burnouts after the hairpin. That is just pace he's showing right now. He has really got that car under control. We talk about the pace that Partanen's got. Yes, Partanen's done nothing but 11s this race. The difference, you just knock a couple tenths off each time, and that's what Hysada's doing, and the pressure has started to ramp up. This is the driver that Partanen fears this season, and you can see why when you've got Hysada driving like a madman.
And I think Togo Hysada is just trying to kind of hint something at us as we watch this a battle for 14th. With all the ones in that lap time, do you think he's trying to be #1? He wants to be first? Is that what he's trying to hint at us?
I mean, it isn't going to be the classic I'm going for first. It's definitely going to be just a sign that he wants this. Joey knows where I'm coming from that, and I don't blame him as we go on board with more battles going on. Of course, as Joey was saying, this is near the back of the field as well, as you see more drivers keep on fighting. It's Daniel Banker with Josh Brain right behind him, and you can just see the classic liveries that some of the drivers love to throw out here today. The Ampex 28 there, doing the best he can. Banker up 7 positions, Josh Brain up 7 positions. Right behind them will be Daniel Gallas. These three all battling for 14. Gallas would love to be plus 14 for the day. He's already plus 2.
As we check in on the big cat back here, Barry West hanging on to what is 18th place. He's actually up 5 positions from where he started. Nice run for Barry, especially after kind of having to park the car to not impact, I believe it was Javier Mascara. And we've got a pass for the lead. Togo Hysada all of a sudden went by Pauli Partanen. I didn't actually see what happened, but all of a sudden on timing and scoring, the lead has changed.
No, I wonder, he pulled over.
It's a slowdown.
It was definitely a slowdown. I thought it was. He pulled over just after the fountain, and you can get a slowdown if you try to open up turn 1 too much. Remember, there is the pit lane there. We're going to see this right now. Yeah, that's the middle of the car road there, a rule on iRacing, and you can see the nose was over that white line, the pit exit line. You cannot do that on iRacing, and you will be told to serve a slowdown, and Partanen had no choice there. He served it, and to be fair, after the hairpin, the fountain, sorry, I think he served that in the best place possible.
They're always trying to be as sneaky as possible to serve back those time penalties, because basically what happens in iRacing, if you're unfamiliar with it, Barney is always watching, and if you cut the course or open up the radius like we saw, a time pops up on the screen, whether it's 2 seconds or 1.4 seconds or however much they said that you cut the course, and you have to simply slow down, let off the gas, and let that timer completely run out. And Pauli Partonen, you're right. He did do a good job of kind of bleeding that time out, and now he's 1 second behind Togo Asada.
Well, Togo hasn't driven in the Vintage for a few weeks, or even this season, if my maths is correct. But he's now dealing with the multi-class aspect here, because he's dealing with lap traffic, and this could put a spanner in the works, because some drivers, they will see the blue flag, they will pull over. Other drivers won't. Remember, it's a blue and yellow flag. It is not a requirement. Is not mandatory, it is advisory, and that just gives you the option to know that, hey, you've got some guys that are really battling, you've got two of the best in the series battling behind you, just make sure you don't get in their way. But this is going to be now crucial. What can Partonen do? Because I don't think I've ever seen Partonen chase Asada, and Daniel Gallas, unfortunately, he's had to chase a few more positions and maybe a broken nose.
Yeah, I think it all started in front of Josh Brain. I think it was Daniel Gallas that kind of lost it in what was turn number 5, and now you see Daniel just kind of limping this car around. He doesn't have the front half of the wing attached to it. He realized it's damaged. He's just trying to stay out of the way of everybody. But I think in terms of a corner to circle today, turn number 5, it is definitely throwing out a lot of wrenches and banana peels for everybody. Jason Clapper is going to make this move, continue on being the biggest mover up to 12th place for him in his run. But those curbs, man, those curbs are a doozy out there in turn number 5.
Yeah, always been a corner that a lot of drivers have struggled with ever since the creation of this track on iRacing. You can see why some drivers try to go into the inside when you've got a car with ground effect downforce like this. You can't really take the inside as much as you want to. Jason Clapper is the number 14 car. He was 14. Well, he's plus 14, sorry. He's now up to 12. This is something, if you're not used to Jason Clapper, he loves doing. He loves doing a lot out there just to have a go. And now let's just look at a quick replay, because this is Partonen. Now, Partonen may have... Oh, he's hit the wall! Partonen hit the wall. Has he got away with that is the question. He may have. What damage has he got?
Yeah, I think he got very lucky. So basically, in the sim here, we have this thing called netcode, right? And it's just a connection of the computers between everybody. And I think that Pauli Partonen, what we saw was a little bit heavier than what actually happened. So that's why we saw kind of the wheel bounce back onto the car and whatnot, and him continue along. But the damage is already done, whether it's not physical on the car or not. What was a 1 second gap, now 1.8 seconds, and Togo is pretty much turned off those rear view mirrors. He is saying, come and catch me if you can.
Togo Hisada is in the zone right now, and he doesn't need to worry, but he won't be slowing down right away. And I'll be interested to see the lap time, not this lap, but the next few laps, just to see what happens here with Partonen. Because if there is some significant damage, we'll probably start to see it on the lap time. There is no meatball flag, and I'm looking at the steering wheel. Thank you. I was just about to look at the steering wheel myself on board over the shoulder. I don't see a steering wheel that's got a bit of an angle to it, so doesn't even suggest suspension damage. Maybe as he brushes with the wall again at the fountain. I think Partonen may have got away with that, Joey.
Here's the thing. Yes, he was on pole position. Yes, he was the fastest car in qualifying. Yes, he led the majority of the first 3 quarters of this race. But I think that Togo Hisada has been the fastest car today. Remember, he just had that terrible start, but then he drove through a couple cars. He made those passes. He was 2 seconds back behind Pauli Partonen, and he just ate up that gap, a couple tenths a lap. All of a sudden, he was there, and yeah, Pauli had the slowdown, which kind of allowed Togo Asada by, but I think that Togo has been the fastest driver in the fastest car, and he is proving it right now that he's got clean air. Now up over 2 seconds, the gap between him and Pauli.
Yeah, Partonen did say that Hisada is probably the fastest driver on the sim with an H pattern, and he just goes to show it. Barry West as well, having a good race today, up 6 places. getting past Daniel Gallas, and you can see that broken wing is really affecting Daniel out there because really struggling. And see that the commentator's curse comes in, and Barry West almost goes into the barrier. But what a save from Barry, using those veteran-like reflexes. He gets that car stuck, and for a moment I thought I cursed the man. He's still in this battle.
Love seeing the onboard shots from the big cat over there. He's using his virtual reality as well as the H-pattern shifter, all 3 pedals, I assume. And then, of course, he's got that motion rig. Really cool for Barry to kind of show that off. I know that we've got quite a few drivers in the vintage community between the 49s that love their motion rigs. And I think, what is it, Tixier, we've got Gary Ho, Nick Cocky is in one, Barry West is in one. So quite a large group of these vintage drivers really enjoying the immersion factor.
I think Jack David Pickett's another one that has used motion before, but breaking news, Togo Hisada broke his 11-second duck last lap. He did a 110. He's back in the 11s now, but he's now starting to pull ahead, and Partonen did get away with that. He's matching and slightly faster, but this is the battle we're keeping on because they're 5 seconds ahead of those leaders. But these guys, they don't have to worry too much about that. Tim Bertie, he's back on Philip Kuhnhardt here. He could probably go +6 for the day. That would be a fantastic recovery drive. Not the start he wanted, not where you want to qualify, but you've got to tip the hat off here to go +5 in the middle of the pack of a 29-car grid at Long Beach to live to tell the tale of lap 1, and now battling here. You've just got to applaud the number 1 car.
I mean, you just said it, the number 1 car, right? He's got the highest iRating, 7,500 iRating for Tim Bertie out here. So I don't think that he necessarily qualified with respect to his pace, right? I think that this is his race pace, and he's being able to drive through the field, like you said, +5 positions. He's right on the back of Philip Kuhnhardt, so that could possibly be +6. And guess what? Freckleton is just up the road. And when I look at a driver that's as experienced as Tim, now I don't know Tim personally, but I just kind of look at the hard data, the hard facts that I can look at, the lap times, the iRating. I expect him to continue this charge. He's got the experience. He is just going to do nothing but get faster as this race goes on.
Well, his fastest lap was 11.351. And to give you some context, that's up there with the top drivers, so he's really pushing on. And he also realizes when to make the moves and when not to, and when to keep it safe. And that's what he's doing right now. A little bit of a wobble when he went hard onto the brakes into the hairpin. But just again, that concertina effect that we keep on talking about. Freckleton up ahead there. And as we go back to Hisada, because look what he's had to go by. That's Keith Herner. He'll catch up to Barry West very shortly. He's been unable to catch up to the back of Daniel Gallas after that commentator's curse, as we say. But again, this is where Hisada has to behave now. Well, he will behave, but he has to be safe at the end of the day. Because one mistake from these cars, they're not battling at the moment. One mistake from these, Hisada will be looking to hit the brakes very hard.
And a little bit of, in my opinion, a questionable move out of Pauli Partonen right there. I understand what he was doing. He was trying to get the draft off of that lapped car, which is trying to propel him. He's trying to catch Togo Hisada. So I understand the concept. However, that lapped car has got the blue flags. He's going to be lifting off of the gas, letting you by. So sometimes there can be a little bit of confusion. And speaking of confusion, that is a huge moment for Togo Hisada, getting basically balked by Barry West, and now Barry West is going to be on the outside line, but Pauli Partonen, what was 2 seconds, now down to a quarter of a second. Togo Hisada is right in front of him.
And that is what we call a little bit of miscommunication, and Barry was trying to pull over to the side, but he pulled over to the side probably a bit too late and had to take the apex away from Hisada twice. Hisada knew where he was and has to play this safe. So now all of a sudden Hisada is on the defense. I don't think it's going to be for too long, but Partonen, he's had those little jitters. He's had those couple of mistakes. He's right on the back now. He's going to be feeling the dirty air. Joey mentioned, was that move a little bit too risky last lap? Well, right now, when I'm seeing both these cars side by side, I think the answer, Joey, was he had to make that move because look where it's given him.
Yeah, you need to be as aggressive as possible going through that lap traffic. And Togo, no fault to him, he just kind of was dealt some crappy cars, in my opinion, and had to get around a lap car in a bad section of the racetrack, which he did. He was able to navigate it, but unfortunately lost a ton of time. Pauli Parchin a little bit wide there in turn number 5, actually gave up maybe 1 or 2 car lengths there on the exit to his leader out front. And I don't think that this changes anything from Togo Hisada. I do think it kind of breathes a little bit of wind in the sails for Pauli Parchin and saying, okay, I've got a shot at it. But I think my comment from earlier still stands. Togo Hisada is the fastest car and the fastest driver right now. You're going to have to beat him.
But to get there, he has to go through 5 more laps, and he has to keep the car clean for 5 more laps. As Josh Brain, just a few seconds up the road, he's battling Daniel Banker, and they're still going. They're both +7, 14th and 15th, but they continue on. They've been battling like this for probably the last 15 laps, and you see that Brain having the struggles out there today. Not his best series, but he still comes out to give on the show, and he loves a bit of the racing, but he's just a bit too far behind. And he'll look at his black box and he'll start to see red, and red means cars that are a lap ahead of you, going to lap you. There's 15, 16 seconds behind him is Togo Hisada and Partanen, but I do see Partanen starting to pull on. We're on board with Tim Bertie. He's trying to also get these 2 positions, as he cannot find a way through Coulthard and Freckleton.
Yeah, he just has been able to attach himself to the back of that red number 10 car, but hasn't been able to find a way around. But if there's been any difference, it might have been the pressure has kind of forced Philip to go up there and catch Dylan Freckleton. He was about 1.5 seconds behind that bright purple car, but has shrunk that gap down quite a bit. So nice job from Philip to kind of close that gap up, and now it's a 3-car fight between Freckleton, Philip Coulthard, and Tim Bertie going down Seaside Way here on the back straightaway. Tim's actually got a terrific run. He's going to force the issue down to the inside. Outbreak Philip Coulthard going into turn number 9. Little bit of contact. Philip locks him up, saves the car from going into the wall. That was a great piece of car control, but Tim Bertie is through to 8th.
That's a really good save by both drivers, because the wheels interlocked there. They were able to just pick that up right away and able to just get on the brake and keep both drivers alive. They didn't want to have that happen. Real good driving, and that's why he's the number 1 car from Tim Bertie. And this is the man who's first today, and it's Togo Hisada, and he's starting to pull away. He's really starting to show Partanen, this is your pace, I've got more. Partanen's not gone in the 110s today. Unless it's the qualifying time, he has not hit that 110. I tell a lie, a 110.977. He's just made it. Meanwhile, you look at Hisada. Well, Hisada, how many 10s have he had? He's had about 3 times more. And if you count that, if you do your math, Joey, 3 times more than 1, that's 3.
Well, I don't want to call myself Miss Cleo, but for the most part, I'm right for most of the time. You know, most of the time, I would say. And right now, Togo Hisada, what was 4/10 after kind of getting balked there by Barry West, it's now up to 1.1 seconds between himself and Pauli Partanen. Like I said, it kind of breathes maybe a little bit into Pauli Partanen's race to say, okay, I could go catch Togo, but I think Togo's on another planet here today.
It's Togo's world, and we're living in it together, but we don't know if that's the truth until 2 laps to go. He's got to navigate probably one last piece of traffic, and Tim Bertie is looking on for the move here on Dylan Freckleton. How did he catch up to Freckleton so quick after 1 lap? The difference is half a second last time out. Really starting to grind it down, tighten the screw, and Freckleton, he realized behind him was Coulthard, and he wasn't going to be pushing hard. But when you've got a man with 7,500 iRacing called Tim Bertie behind you, and he's flashing the number 1 car, well, you've got be on your defense here, and that's what he's trying to do.
Let's see if he can hang on here. Tim has been really fast through this section of the racetrack. Remember, that's where he made the pass on Philip Coulthard, is getting the slipstream down this back straightaway, now breaking him into turn number 9. Maybe Freckleton a little bit slow on the top speed, kind of like what we saw out of Jack David Spickett earlier in that Pepsi-themed car. So maybe Freckleton struggling a little bit with the top speed on the setup of his machine. A little bit of a lockup there into turn number 11, but gets an excellent exit as we jump back up to our leaders. Half a lap remaining between Togo and Pauli.
Just half a lap to go, and still just a second between them. And this is where Hissada starts to crank it up a little bit because he gets a really good run here. And Partonen had issues there on those corners before. We saw it earlier in the race, hitting the wall and getting away with it because of those tires. Really handy for him. Last time they go down through Seaside Way, and this could be a perception for Hissada, but he's got to navigate the Firestone turn, the Indy left, and the hairpin. Through he goes for one more time. Into the Indy left he goes, and it will be a good time to get on to the hairpin. Could still lock it up, could still spin it. Cool, calm, and collective. And like I said, it's a London bus situation. He got his first victory last week. He's going to take his second in a row. And Hissada claims the Long Beach Grand Prix.
Nicely done from Togo. Hissada just did not get going off of that rolling start, or I should say off of the standing start. Was able to make the passes, which you don't usually see at Long Beach, and then ultimately come home with the win. Mikko Leno here will round out the podium in what is third place. I do have to say, Pauli Partonen on that final lap through turn number 10 and through turn number 11, I think he realized he wasn't going to catch Togo Hissada, but I don't think I've seen a Lotus 79 do a full Formula drift section through there, but Pauli definitely did.
Well, I hear drifting, and I'd think it'd be Togo doing it, but nope, it was definitely Partonen. And by the way, just more positions going on. Tim Bertie tried to make a late lunge at the hairpin on Dylan Freckleton, could not do it, and got stuck to the wall and had to do a Hail Melon. And unfortunately, being slow out there as well. Last battle we get to see Josh Brain unable to get past Daniel Banker. So they will be finishing in those positions. The 15 cars out of 29 finish on the lead lap. And that will be all she wrote for the race. All the cars have come back in. So let's go over those results because it is Togo Hissada's world. We're living in it for the second week in a row. He takes the victory away from Pauli Partonen today. And then Mikko Leno, we did not talk about him a lot. He finished in third with Jack David Spickett finishing in fourth. Nick Fisson will be fifth with Gabriel Martinez in sixth. And then it's Dylan Freckleton holding off Tim Bertie for 7th and 8th respectively. Philip Kuhnhardt will be 9th, and Shady Ahmad finishes in 10th.
Then in 11th is Alexander Matei back here. Nice run. Jason Clapper, our biggest mover of the day, plus 15 to finish in 12th place. Sean Langton, 13th. Dan Banker here in 14th. Josh Brain in 15th. Ellis Spice, 16th, a nice run for Ellis, plus 13, and Daniel Gallus, same thing, plus 11 to finish in 17th. Barry West, we saw him quite a few times throughout the race. The Big Cat finishes in 18th place. Keith Hurd, 19th, and Aaron Blair is going to round out our top 20.
And we get to Yanni Lindman, who had that issue at the start of the race, finishes 21st, and Hans Sommer will be 22nd, and then we get to the retirees. Timothy Reed finishes 19 laps down, JD Rodriguez 21 laps behind, and Javier Mosquera 25. With him, Ryan Ware 25 laps, and then the three cars who had that unfortunate accident at the start of the race, Brendan Lim, Kevin Parrish, and Taylor Lane, all finishing in that order 28 laps down. Gives us a good time to start on with the interviews, and got Pauli Partonen here right away, and I'll start with Pauli Partonen because that looked like the best start you could have had, Partonen. But at the end of the day, Togo Hissada caught up to you so easily.
Yeah, he's super fast here. Like I think I said in last week race broadcast that Togo is a machine at Long Beach, and he showed it again. And my weakness today was getting off track and slow down on the beach straight. So that was super annoying, but things like that happen sometimes.
Yeah, talk me through the slowdown because it's not one a lot of people have, but it's one that you can get caught out with there. Was it just a misunderstanding by yourself there, just pushing a bit too hard to open the corner up?
Well, I haven't ever taken that, so that was first time ever, and I think I have raced like 5 or 6 broadcast races, maybe 5, so it's not very common to me, but I honestly I don't know what happened. I just went a bit too much on the right, and yeah, that's it. It was super close, but yeah, sometimes that kind of stuff happens. Very annoying.
Yeah, very annoying. But we've also got to address the little visit to the barrier there. We did catch it at an unfortunate moment there. How much were you thinking in your head at that time, this might be the race over? Because we did catch it on the replays. That looked like it was going to be a race-ending crash, and you were just able to survive it.
Yeah, it was very bad crash, and actually I got some wheel damage out of it, so I was getting slower and slower because of it. But yeah, I was super lucky that the car is just working. Like, it was pit steering on the left all the time and very hard to drive. But yeah, I was pushing way too much. Like, I knew that Toko has the pace to beat me so easily, so I was planning to do like 100% risk, and yeah, it didn't pay off at all. So that happens too.
Yeah, it is the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. We've all been there. Parley Parton, before we let you go for the day, is there any shout-outs you would like to give?
Shout out to Toko. Very good pace. I knew you had it, but still I was super surprised how fast you were this week. And thank you guys also. Super good broadcasters, and happy to see it after this race. Thank you.
Well, Parton, and thank you very much for joining us. Parley Parton, and just there, that moment on the wall we saw, finishes in second for the day. And I believe going down at the paddock, Joey is at the winner's circle. He's alongside Togo Hisada.
Togo Hisada, dude, congrats, man. That was one heck of a drive.
Yeah, just super lucky.
Oh, man, no, that was not lucky. I think that you were unlucky on the start. Talk to us. Was it just wheel spin? What happened on the start?
Yeah, lost my talent. Yeah, just at the first in qualifying mistake in the second money lap, and they didn't take a pole position. And I know this track is super hard to make a move, so I was a bit nervous. And that caused the disaster start. Just I put down the throttle too early and free spin the car. And after the few laps, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about we left. They left room for me. So just through the cars and fortunately I recovered from the bad start.
Well, you were able to recover, and yeah, maybe they saw you coming and they were intimidated. They're like, holy smokes, this is Togo Hisada in my mirror. I better move over, and that's what I saw out there. But if you had to pass Pauli, I thought you were the fastest driver in the fastest car all race long. Do you think you could have made the pass without that slowdown?
It's difficult. It's difficult, but the lap cars is a factor with this track. So just the same with the last week. Yeah, just try to cross to him, and waiting for mistake. It's just a proper strategy.
Well, 2 in a row. You got to feel good about this. Is this the momentum that you need to go and claim that championship lead and hopefully a championship at the end of the season?
Yeah, I hope so. I wish, but at this moment, I don't want to imagine about the championship, because those hopes, those imagines just made me so nervous. So just focus on the next round.
I understand that. I totally hear you. I think that is a good plan to have, and obviously it has made you very, very fast. So, Togo, congratulations on the win here at Long Beach. Is there anybody you want to say hi to?
The Global SimRacing Channel broadcasting team. Thank you, Joey. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Daniel. And the party partner, of course, and the Lotus 79 communities.
That was Togo Hisada, and just on a quick note, Craig, I'm so happy to see him racing in the 79s. I know that he was so fast in the 49s. It's so good to see him kind of expanding out of that world, and that is a class act driver who's just waiting to become a pro here on iRacing.
Yeah, we have seen him a lot of times in the other series. The 49s definitely, the Interventure, of course, and we have seen him a lot of time in the highlights on the iRacing top 10s. Can he do it 3 weeks in a row? Circuit Gilles Villeneuve next weekend, the 11th of May at the same time. You don't want to miss that because, hey, guess what? It's another race of a straight. You're going to see a lot of action like you saw today. It promises to be another classic race. But we have to call it a day, unfortunately, and it's a Sunday, of course, and we have to call it a Sunday, and that will be the end for us. I want to give a shout out to our team, Joey Atterbury with me in the booth, and of course, Daniel and Dougie on those cameras and directors. If you like what you see, please give a like and subscribe to the iRacing channel to catch this race next week and all the other races here on the iRacing series. Because next week, we're going to see, can Hesada close down the gap one more time? It's getting closer and it's getting tighter. You don't want to miss any more. Race clean, race hard. We will see you on the track.
This is iRacing.